Dear viewers, good evening. Once again, we are here in this good program, POLICON, as we interpreted politics and economics. We are privileged to be with, once again, our beloved guests who are going to participate in our discussion today, the discussion that is aiming to shape the economic and the political destiny of this country. Our comrade, Mr. Paul Kawanguzi, on the left. You are welcome once again. And we are privileged to be with Mr. Paul Kawanguzi, a public policy analyst and legal expert. And I am happy to have worked with him for some time back while working as a principal policy analyst. This evening, it's a pleasure, sir, to be with you. And once again, here on our side, on my side, we have Mr. Kamakajo Derek Frederick. He is a legal expert and a human rights advocate. And we are privileged to be with him in this program as a special, with ideas to represent even the special group over there, the youth. Wherever you are, know that you are fully represented. And our topic of discussion tonight, we will look at investment that can steer youth employment opportunities and government revenue collection. We cannot have a government that does not have well-built resource base. And for the country of Uganda to survive, again, we find it unavoidable and very much important to have the focus and to draw the attention of the government in resource distribution, especially to ensure that we support the youth in the day-to-day activities in all circles of their lives. We look at sports, we look at agriculture, we look at education. The youth is a backbone of the economy. Today I'm changing the statement. I'm not referring agriculture is the backbone of the economy, but the youth, you are the backbone of the economy. Please, we wish and we believe that everyone who has already appeared to view and listen through this program, it's a life-changing moment, and we are preparing our fellow viewers and those who are stakeholders in policy making that let us have a concentration in this discussion, and we will be able to add a brick to our economy of this country. You're welcome, Mr. Paul. Please, it's a pleasure to have you once again.
Thank you, my good brother. Thank you, Smart 24, for this wonderful opportunity. Like I said, this is one of the programs that I would wish actually to come for, because it has a contribution that it adds on to the development of this country. And like other programs where you come and you're just shouting, making noise, where we see each other as being enemies. But this is a program where we are coming to discuss issues. It is really issue-based. I think this is a TV that is actually in Luganda Bagambe, Erikumulamwa. Because anything that deals with the economics, like I said, many people want to so much deal with the politics, but they don't want to deal with the economics. And there is no way you can separate the politics from the economics. And I'm happy, very proud to be part of this deliberation and discourse, because I can see something that conjoins the two, polyconomy. It's very important, and whoever thought about this idea is actually a very wise person. If you see Dr. Tindiegwa, thank you so much. If it's the management, please, thank you so much.
We'll be coming back to you, Mr. Derek. You're also again welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Tindiegwa. Once again, I'm Namakajo Derek Frederick, and a lawyer by profession and a human rights advocate by passion. Having that vegan passion, the effort of ensuring that human rights is promoted, protected in the current Uganda, it is really alarming, and some people are shying away. But as my brother Paul has said, really it is just a token of appreciation to the management of Smart TV. Really, it goes back to the word Smart 24. Every time 24/7 you're smart. I believe that's the management we have with us here. Yeah. A lot of people forget about the economics, as brother said. Economics is really, it is the backbone of every country, of every government, because every government that has poor economy really cannot sustain. That is why we have examples of like Somalia, which went into a failed state. That's why we are saying right now, the war between Ukraine and Russia, that even the Western countries don't want to participate physically, but rather they would go into economic sanctions. That means that economics is really vital and important to our country. You can't separate politics from economy of the country. So really, thank you. Kudos to Smart Television, yes, and Dr. Tindewa. Thank you for the wonderful opportunity for making this program an issue content-based program, rather not popcorn program where people just come and you just see words, a mouth dancing up and down. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm happy for your interesting and exciting preamble. And straight away we go to the core discussion of this subject matter. I would like to just enlighten the viewers to understand why we come up with such a discussion. And once again, we are dealing with investment that can steer youth employment opportunities and government revenue collection. We would like to draw it from a perspective so that it's no longer just a mere talk, but to go to the realistic point of view. To enlighten us, once again, we understand that during August 2019, the government of the Republic of Uganda and His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda, he launched a program that was name-tagged Emyoga. And initially, this was referring to an initiative to create wealth and also for job creation. Again, by 2022, when the program has taken shape, there was a very great concern by the Parliament of Uganda to review and look at whether this program of Emyoga was in position to solve the current challenge of unemployment. When we talk about employment opportunities, there is both formal employment and uninformed employment, self-employment and white-collar jobs, those who go for either to seek for employment. We've had the challenges sometimes back, around 4 years ago, or five years as we can call it, where our youth in Uganda, most have sucked themselves into seeking for jobs abroad. And the story has been different. It has been partly a painful story to a certain extent. And we come back to our country, of which we expect that we have investment opportunities through agriculture and through other talents that we could be able to expose and stir up our youth, and they are able to participate in saturated investment. The realization of the dream to solve unemployment of Uganda has hit a snag. It has not been realized as expected. 79% remains unemployed. We are talking about how many universities? Over 40 universities graduate every other year. Personally, as you know, I'm a senior lecturer, and we have gone through this challenge to interrogate what can the government do. And again, yet we are aware that where we have to invest the efforts of Ugandans, the government national resources would have pointed basically in among the youth to invest, to have a resource envelope that can sustain the youth. Here, according to the report, we have, by 2019, it was only 100 billion that was invested in the program of Emyoga. The target was 560 million was to be allocated per each constituency. And initially, the simple language which was referred to Emyoga, there was a contention. I remember by that time I was here at the Parliament of Uganda. There was a contention of why use this word called Emyoga. Yet, the real interpretation was that they were looking at how to support priority areas where they can skill the youth and they be able to do work that can lead into job opportunities and business investments, entrepreneurship generally. And I've looked at the number of areas which were looked, around 18 areas of projects but of which is missing some, and their guests will maybe venture into that. But again, to look at what the objectives, we look at the objectives, we're targeting to have increased access to specialized financial services, enhanced entrepreneurship capacity of different categories, and improve household income. There were 3. I don't know, they might have maybe modified to make them more than that. And that's at that stage where we are in this city. This is Kampala. You go to other towns of where we are coming from, unemployment is a challenge. Revenue collection compared to our expected target for GDP continues to roll down. And we are here to interrogate and again be able to propose solution. What exactly has happened and what we can do better than we have done as a country and all of us as citizens, so that we are not at a lamentation position, but we go at an appreciative position where all of us appreciate ourselves while we are in our country, and why also the government either should be proud to say we have a government. Once again, I'm happy to be with my guests. You're welcome, Mr. Paul. You can give us your opinion and policy analytical point of view. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you so much, Dr. Joseph Tindebo, our host, for this great topic that you've actually brought on table. One, I need to appreciate, and like I hinted on it the other time, I brought it to the attention of the viewers that we've had different models. And I want to congratulate whoever brings up some of these models. You know, somebody will say, will bring like cooperation, wealth creation. It's a model which is qualified, which is presented, justified, and taken up by government. So we had also this model called the Myoga model. You know, its content is almost similar to that of what? To that of the parish, almost similar objectives. If you look at it, financing, for example, growing entrepreneurial skills, looking at how we see processing take costs. But you know, for me, like we said even the other time with Professor Augustus here, when we were here the other time, Uganda has very neat documents. The people that are there to design these documents are so many, they are so brilliant. We have very brilliant cadres, very brilliant children, very well-trained persons who will come up with very good documents. The problem is implementation. You really say program, but when you look at the will, what is the intention? What is the purpose? For example, look at the timing of the launching of the Myoga. When was it launched?
That's August 2019.
2019. How many years for elections?
For 3 years.
I think you're getting.
Yeah.
So the election is 2021. It's launched August 2019. Just 1 year to what? To elections. First, look at the timing. You're giving money, but when almost election period is actually heating up. You're giving money. Who is giving it up? Who is giving it up? It's actually the NRM government, which is actually going back for election just after 1 year. Because it is just actually 1 year in between to elections. So that's what I told you, is that many of these programs, despite them being economic, their intentions are different. They are political. Like I told you, when they brought in Tandikwa, people got the money and they said, President Yetwada Kasimo, he gave us like a token of thanks for voting for him.
Don't you think that's just a mindset?
This is what I'm telling you, that the intention, the timing is important. Wherever you do anything, the timing is what? Is important. At what time do you do something? Now look at the timing of this. 1 year to what? To elections. And the minister is busy moving out, giving out 100 million shillings. And that's what he told you. They were mobilizing people to register circles and get this money. And we told you, for as long as you're forcing people, for as long as you're mobilizing people to mobilize and get money, you're not helping them. Because at the end of the day, you're going to give money to wrong groups, wrong circles, wrong people. Because you have only told them to go and make the associations, the clubs, register CBOs, and they come for the what? For the money. But their mission is not actually causing development. Their interest is only picking this money, they use it. Now, the problem that is actually there is that most of this money is given to NRM cadres, most of it. Do your research. The good thing, you're a researcher. Most of the money is given to NRM cadres. And as we speak now, the NRM fears lose support. They do not arrest somebody because he ate the money. Because the money was given to their youth chairperson, it was given to their women chairperson. They are mobilized on the village. These are the people who take this money, mostly if you do research. Actually, you can interest yourself there and ask yourself which people are giving this money. Now, for as long as the timing isn't right, it changes the whole meaning of the program. Like I said, the purpose of the program, the naming for me, I'm not so much into the naming of the model, the program. I'm not so much interested in that. Even if you call it Indiegwa, it is okay, for as long as it is going to deliver on its intended what? Intended aims and objectives. So the biggest challenge we have in that program of Imyoga, it was actually the timing. Because others, actually, some politicians were arguing that some of this money was given out to assist the NRM in mobilizing the youth. That is part of the argument. And you cannot wash it away, looking at the timing. So, this program called Imyoga, it is a very nice program. But for me, the way I saw it, like you saw it, it's timing. You saw how the money was being distributed, how we're just going omnibus, telling people, you make associations, register groups at the sub-counter, and we give you money, open bank accounts. So it goes back to the purpose, the spirit in which this program arose. For as long as we are not deliberate in having our people change in terms of the economics, we shall not cause development, or we shall not cause any kind of change in terms of, because now, how are you going to cause a change, for example, in aggregate demand? How are you going to cause a change in, for example, the purchasing power of the people? Because in case if you want the development, in case you want invest, because you must, for as long as you want to invest, these are common denominators, you must save. What is the element of saving there?
Because every constituency, they were targeting 18 circles.
So you were targeting 18 circles.
Savings.
So I mean, among the pillars there, you read which pillars?
They were objectives, but the spirit, their target was to make sure that they establish circles.
That is the point that I'm talking about.
Yes, please.
So if the purpose was, say, let's see those who have saved some good amount of money. Because for us in economics, once you don't save, there are two things, consumption and then saving. You have to reduce on the consumption. After reducing on the consumption, you save and then you invest. You can no longer invest if you're not what? If you're not saving. So for as long as you're not emphasizing the aspect of saving here, you cannot lie to any Ugandan that you're going to cause what? Cause investment. Number two, going to the aspect of taxation. Because you're asking, how do this, for example? Because you're looking, first of all, this money we are giving these people, it is money that has been generated through taxation. And it's then that people take this money as if it is personal money from, when they don't even say it is from government, they'll say it is from 7. They even don't know that this is money that comes to the consolidated fund. Even when it has been maybe borrowed, it would mean it's Ugandans pay for it. So there is a problem. People are taking taxpayers' money for granted. In most cases, you are given money, my money, you give out my money. Because we pay taxes in one way or the other, direct and indirect. But after paying this money, we get it into a consolidated fund, we give it to a certain person who takes it and says, now, I only want these people, make sure you mobilize only cadres in most cases, who is overseeing the program, the DISO and the GISO. At the end of the day, the whole thing loses meaning. The GISO and the GISO is making orders on my money, me, the taxpayer, because I have paid taxes. When I say I'm also referring to other persons around. You, Dr. Tindeba and the others have also paid what? They've also paid taxes. So first of all, this is money that has been mobilized through taxation. But the problem is we don't have value for our money. And that's the number one problem. In Uganda, we don't have a spirit where people look at government money as being our money. We even cheat ourselves. For example, you're given money like that, and you go misuse it and you don't even mind. And to me, this is very important. But also going into the challenges of taxation, why we've not collected enough in Uganda. We have not collected enough. It is because of one thing. Do you think really the volume of trade, because I see every time you are reporting, we've run a shortfall, we're into a shortfall. We've not realized our target. Why is it like that every time? There is no time I see you are talking about saying maybe we're into a surplus this time around. What is the problem? So one, there is a problem in Uganda of the so-called big persons, the big taxpayers. They evade taxes so much. And this increases the gap between the rich and the poor. You are having a Dr. Tindiegwa who is very rich, a billionaire, but he doesn't pay taxes. If at all he pays, then he pays less of what he's supposed to pay. Because you manipulate all the systems to make sure that he pays that small tax. You're a very rich person, you can even bully these tax administrators, because you are the officer, if you give him, say, 5 million shillings. So the biggest problem in this country, like I told you the other time, is corruption and bribery. It is the number one problem of this country. Actually, I can tell you that the instances where even parliament is bribed. I'm not saying this because I've worked there, but I'm only saying the instances. There's been accusations, for example. You've seen billionaires. If they say there is a law that is coming, there is a bill that is on the table and it's affecting their incomes. For example, property tax. I mean, the rental tax. You'll see many of these people moving around. You have seen accusations. So and so got money, gave these ones, and because of this, you have seen accusations even in Park. They have been there. So we have a very big number one problem. And that's why we said, if the president can be deliberate in fighting corruption like in other countries, these Scandinavian countries that we talk about, the number one thing they dealt with was corruption. And I've already said, and I want to say it again here on air, that if this country can fight corruption the way they fight insecurity, if Museveni can fight corruption, if he can deal with corruption the way he deals with insecurity, this country will be fine. The reason why we have not fixed the economics is because we have failed to fix corruption. Corruption is number one enemy of this country. We cannot, even in taxation. First of all, who are the people collecting taxes? Where are they from? How are they recruited?
The Uganda Revenue Authority.
Exactly, but I'm saying, who are the people?
And who recruits?
Who recruits? Who is there?
On behalf of the URA.
That's the point I'm talking about.
Public service.
Did you really feel like, yeah, if you ask really, is this really easy? Is this really easy to even join, to even get
public
there?
service, they advertise on publicly, and then people...
That's what I'm saying. That's another debate for another day, but I'm just giving you my assessment.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, because why is it that, I don't want even going to get there, but I'm trying to emphasize the issue of corruption. The issue of corruption. Because I'm even told there is even another school of thought that people are recruited there in a syndicate way. For you, you're in charge of this enforcement. You're in charge of enforcement, but you're there to protect our wealth.
So in the process, contributes tax evasion?
Of course, and avoidance.
Okay.
Because for as long as you have the actors, the managers, the people who aid your business, and my container has come, please leave that one. I think you are getting the point. We even have instances where some people, I've told you, people in government, most of the big people in government, most of them.
So what should be done against that corruption, which is really a serious challenge, especially for tax evasion, which is and avoidance? Because if we are to realize increased allocation of funds to the youth, especially for these programs, which are not bad, as you stated it, there must be a deliberate plan to increase the revenue. And if there is a deliberate plan to increase the revenue, the target again, as you understand the principle of investment and production in a form of a cycle, as the money goes to the population, and especially the workforce, the production workforce, that is the youth. And we believe that could, again, through those projects, skilling projects, then they are able to pay a certain tax. You are being supported by the government with a fund, and as you accumulate some interests, then you are able to invest, but again pay tax.
But are they accumulating interest?
So that's what we are looking at. How can we fight against this corruption that is bogging us down, and we are not able to realize the increased revenue collection?
Exactly, Joseph. This is my point. And I was actually emphasizing, if government can be deliberate in fighting corruption, the way it is deliberate in fighting insecurity. Because can you ask this government, how are you fighting insecurity? Actually, if you want government now to know, just hold a gun and see. Just keep it at your place. Maybe just a bullet. Even a shell of a bullet. Just keep it at home.
Have we heard about Nakalema's operations?
This is what I'm saying, that government must be deliberate.
Yes.
Are you getting the point?
I'm getting the point.
The government will must be seen. For example, there are situations where you see really that government is fighting corruption. For example, are we having strong judicial institutions? Is the IGG very strong? If I was the one, I wouldn't be appointing somebody from the NRM to fight. I'd be getting somebody from the opposition, for example. You know, the IGG becomes like a continuation of PAC. Because now it is there to check on the misuse of powers and resources and where you're actually violating the law. For me, if I was to be the one, if I would be president, I'd rather get somebody from the opposition to do that. If I'm really deliberate on fighting what? Fighting corruption. But if you get an accomplice, some of these guys we get them to be accomplices.
Thank you, thank you, Mr. Paul.
Let me just finalize this before you go.
Yes.
You know, this is what you are saying. But like we said, this government can use the workforce because labor is a factor of what? Labor is a factor of production. When you have the labor, you have mob youth, very powerful youth. Like the distribution of our population. You know that we have the biggest population is youthful. And that is, for me, a plus. If you realize that, then make sure that you put this population into production. What you have to do, first thing first, you need to make sure that you avail cheap credit. How do you avail cheap credit? It's not by making sure that you give money directly. Make sure that you lower the interest rates. The interest rates that we have, let them be low. For example, many of these banks get money from Bank of Uganda. But the lending rate, it's quite high. So you have to make sure that you enable these youth get cheap credit locally, which is automatic instead of giving them. For me, for as long as the interest rate is low, and make it possible for any person to get a loan in a bank, easier. But first of all, Dr. Tinideba, have you ever investigated how much now it costs to get a loan in a bank?
We'll go back into that after. And now allow me to welcome, thank you so much for your contribution. Allow me to welcome Derek. But Mr. Derek, Kamakajo, Frederick, this is a serious matter. We are discussing before the viewers, not as per anyone may have an assessment or critical review, as we are also critically reviewing, to refer this challenge either to be a challenge of the government, the ruling party, or the opposition. Because to the best of my knowledge, poverty doesn't have any color. And as a matter of fact, even corruption doesn't have any color. You can have among those who are corrupt, they are also in opposition. Yeah. We have those stories, we know them. We have also those in the national resistance movement, because we are discussing POLICON, but also those who are faithful. Leaving that aside, while appreciating this program, there are a number of areas where the initiator of this program, His Excellency the President, looked at how best we can help our youth to come up with these skills. Incidentally, the list here, which I will briefly look at, there is the targeting border borders, targeting carpenters, targeting saloon operators, restaurant owners, welders, even as my brother talked about youth leaders. This wouldn't have been the major one. This one automatically has to be. Mechanics, tailors, journalists, performing arts, veterans. I missed on the list sports. And I'm seeing Asena, I believe I will, another time I want you to see Uganda. Or maybe Busoga, sports, something. Because all this should be deliberate. True. Sports, because sports is an employment. It's an employment opportunity. It's an activity, it's an engagement. When there are those who are investing in it and they are sending their children and they are joining those teams abroad. True. But before they join those teams abroad, they are supposed to be praying for me.
Are they artists?
Yeah, we have here also performing artists. But in the due course, the challenge of corruption and unemployment, all of us almost, even those who are in it and those who are not in it, who are really, condemning it, all of us almost, we are tired. I believe, not almost, we are all tired. So today in our discussion, as I welcome you, our youth, those who have not gone to school, because remember, we are dealing with the three sections of the youth, if I can try to give an overview. We have those who didn't go to school at all. We have those who dropped out from UP. We have those who are graduates. And we have those who are frustrated, even they used to refer them even the ghetto. They used to say that the ghetto and so forth. Our parents down there, they are looking at who will solve this problem. The government is in the center of playing politics. You and me and the youth outside there, they're supposed to be in a cycle of production. There are factors of production that we all embrace. What is the disconnect in this matter? Back to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Tindiebwa, for this wonderful opportunity. To start with is a simple question as we progress. I believe Dr. Tindiebwa or my comrade Paul, both of you, you're road users, right? Either you walk, either you drive, either you ride. And all roads within Kampala, you've ever seen these street kids, right? And I believe you've ever fallen a victim of seeing a street child begging you some money. So my question would be to Dr. Tindiebwa, what is your impression? What do you get when you see a young child of 6 and 10 begging you for that money?
It is a painful venture. You are reminding me when I'm walking, when I'm driving alongside here, one day gear, then Ginger Road, and most of them, they are saying that they are being transported from Karamoja. There is a minister in charge of Karamoja, and he's fully funded.
So thank you. So the question is, or what we need to understand is, if it is a painful moment seeing a young child begging money from you, to my understanding,
by the way, for a short while, just from 1 year, they are being trained and the environment around them. From just 1 year, immediately they are asking
to the
money.
begging.
And to those who are even 20, 30, it is too painful.
So have you ever seen a Muganda child on Wandega Street begging for money?
Actually, the ones we see, they are in old age. They are those who are sick, who are lame.
Thank you.
Those are the people we see on the street.
But the able-bodied children, Muganda, have you ever?
Why
is it that every
most of
time
them are coming from Karamoja? I'm not understanding.
So why is it that everyone...
One time I asked my colleague, I said, why can we help these people? And he said, there are people who are doing business.
Yes. So why is it that all of them are coming from up country? We get. And if so, how are they able to come from up country to Uganda regarding the inflation in prices, in transport fares? Coming from up country, from Kotido to Kampala, it might be around 35, 40. How do they afford to pay for those fares? So that they can't even afford to feed themselves within Kampala. So to me, I'm seeing that that is the state, or that is where Uganda is heading. That's where the citizenry, the citizens of Uganda are heading. Take it that you, the road user on the road, is the government. And with the citizens, with the street children begging for the money. Bringing all these projects, the EMIOGA, the Youth Livelihood, the OWC, Operation Wealth Creation, the Girl Child on Skilling, among others. As my brother said, they are good models. True, they are good models with the intent. But they become to be a poisonous vessel where there is no will of the person bringing the models. The government lacks a will to implement what it has given birth. There's a difference between you giving birth and looking after the child. So the government gives us the model, but again, it doesn't have a will to implement the model. This is how you can show that, or you can get to know that the government lacks a will. One, you're saying that every constituency has 56 million.
500. Yeah, that was the target, to distribute 560 million to 18 from the circles. Where our youth can go and get money that will lead them, usher them into entrepreneurship, build their entrepreneurship capacity.
Now, thank you. So, how many youths do we get every year from tertiary institutions and universities who are pursuing economic-based courses and they don't have what to do, but they are skilled? My brother was using energetic youth, right? But me, I keep on saying energetic, smart youths, because for the point of a fact, we are educated and we are graduated, but many of them ain't employed. Now you're getting the frustrated youths, as you said, frustrated, because the frustrated youth, these are the graduated, unemployed youths, that now they are frustrated. Last week we had a youth who committed suicide. I believe you saw the news. In Chambogo. Graduated in 2019. Just within 2 years or 3 years is frustrated. And we have those who have taken a decade, and this is the second decade, they have never been employed somewhere. So if a person who has spent 2 years, 3 years is frustrated, how can you term a person who has taken a decade, who is not minus being employed anywhere? How can you term that particular person? So if you get that person and you wait, Dr. Tindebwa, form an association down there within the Chigezi region, and you come and we give you money, 30 million. And that person has never even gotten, counted 1 million in his hands. He's the chairperson of the purported circle.
He registers with 20,000 and then he trains, then he gets the money.
He then gets the money and gets the money. Yes, a frustrated, unemployed youth. What will be the effect? Has gotten 30 million. And you think that he's going to put 30 million in action the way you programmed it to be used.
Mr. Derek, according to the program, they are supposed to come together and form a group. And the other frustrated youth, and maybe youth with a poor mindset, and joins with someone who is an active youth, smart one,
thank you,
and with an expectation, because this is the design, that when now they form into a group of 5, they can be able to, all of us, inspire one another and work together for production.
Now, Doctor, let me show you how the frustrated youth will do and how they have been doing in implementing the Yoga Fund in the Youth Livelihood Fund. Because also the people in the pipeline who are giving out that money also are frustrated in their own way. How? They are all to get 30 million. Obvious, all of us, we know this is a point of fact in politics or even down there. A person who is giving that money is having off a percentage. That we no need to rebut upon that. Is having off a given percentage of the 30 million. One time there is a particular circle I was involved into as their legal person. And as we were fighting to get off the Yoga Fund, and one person was like, I can take you direct to the person in charge of the Yoga Fund. But I have 10% of the money which you're going to get, 50 million.
But that's a private arrangement.
No. But initiated by a person in the pipeline.
Was it an implementer?
Obvious. Because the person we are being taken to is the one who is going to share the 10% with the person who has brought us. Of 50 million for the 10%, how much is that? Right? And you expect us to give you accountability. Because how they do, first get the money off your account, sign that you have received, within the bank, get us our 10% straight away. So me, the frustrated youth, even not knowing that at a later in a time, I'll be accountable or made accountable to the given authorities, I'll give you the 5 million, I'll give you the 10 million. What does it show? It shows what my brother talked about, the corruption and the bribery. But because also I've been frustrated and I'm looking at the 30 million coming in as a cornerstone of saving my life, I will have to take it on. And I said, Dr. Tindebwa, will take your 20 million, may need my 30 million. Now another point comes in implementation. Second, the lack of will by the government is the inflation in prices, is the continuous taxes you impose on these people. You're saying that you're giving us 50 million, let us go and develop ourselves. And in developing ourselves, you've come up with a project plan of putting up a certain business venture. But you're the same person who is hiking taxes Monday to Monday, January to January, every year, every financial year, you're hiking prices. And you're expecting us to say that we are going to develop on the 30 million you gave us in 2019. Right now, if we are to go with the value has deteriorated somehow, somewhere. A person who put up a washing bay and they have to use soap, they have to use detergents, and by then they had budgeted to buy a bar of soap at 3,500. Right now it is at 9,000. How are you expecting that how are those people going to develop themselves on the money you've given them? In brief, you're making Ugandans become peasants and beggars on their own money, the taxpayers.
Mr. Derek, there's something I would like to talk about, posing a commentary or a question. Just for 1 minute, you respond. The government intention is not to make citizens beggars. The government intention is to ensure that everyone can be in the chain of a workforce that can contribute revenue, that can improve their welfare, their well-being. By the way, as you remember, what is embodied in this program at a household level. But yet again, when we go to the responsiveness of citizens, it leaves behind a question of debate and a question mark, as a matter of fact, of why the citizens who are also responsive in this process, it is becoming difficult to embrace the little input, let me call it little input, the government is giving to them. How can we bridge this gap, and what recommendation are we giving so that we can improve from where we are and we go to the next level?
Doctor, we have to accept the fact that the government is not doing what it has to do in ensuring that the citizens become responsible, as you say, that the citizens are not responsible enough. The matter is not about citizens. The issue is about the implementation model. My brother talked about we, the government of Ugandans, being very, very good in documentation, but the will in implementation is very, very low. An example how to implement this. The people you're giving money are totally ignorant of the attachments on that particular money. Many citizens think, as he said, that the timing is so crucial, the timing. So you're bringing this money as we heading to elections. And for us, we think it is Mr. Museveni giving out this money. Indirectly, we don't know that it is a government program. And some projects have attachments. For example, we know about the money that is given out as education loan to these students in universities. And you have to pay for that money when you start working, right? But you're giving out this money. Do these citizens know that at a given time you have to take back this percentage?
They are aware. They are being.
Who tells that they are aware?
When you are getting the money, always you are.
How many people have taken back that money?
Okay.
Just in 2020, a lot of people were given money.
Some were arrested because they defaulted.
Those who were arrested, it was just an act of showing willingness, which is not there. Which is not there. But point is, ignorance is a main factor amidst the citizens, not only the youth. Ignorance. They know that this is just a free money given to us. So the government has to ensure that their strategies of flow of information, of dissemination, that is the first key, the first point. Not only of saying, make circle, come and we give you money. Make circles, come and we give you money. But there has to be continuous reminders in regard when it comes to flow of information, dissemination, so that a person who has taken this money is totally knowing. An example, as I'm concluding, is credit, as my brother Paul said. If you get a loan from Centenary, I assure you, every month you'll be knowing that you have to take back that particular what? Regardless of the interest attached to that particular loan. Channel that money from the giving. Let it go and settle the low interest from the bank on the loans. So that let the circles who are legally in place, because even those circles in Emiogas, most of them are illegal. Let the circles who are legally placed in place come and get that loan on a low interest, so that they have that responsibility of saying, I shall not eat this money, let me be responsible and put up a project that will ensure that I pay the loan on time.
Thank you.
Not making us beggars.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Derek. It leaves us on the way. We have not yet crossed the bridge. And our target is the Ugandan youth of today and the population should not remain lamenting. We have challenges, but of which we must be part of the problem solvers. And in the next session, in the next hour, we'll be looking at how best can we make everyone in this cycle of production responsible. The government must be responsible. The youth, you are also responsible. Our parents, you are responsible also because you are part of this process. You are the one who take children to go to school. What's the career guidance granted to them? Is it only getting a degree and a diploma that makes you comfortable to look at your family as a well-built-up family? We will have a number of, some of the recommendation or point of view of how best we can come out of this. But as we go for our break, I'm just bringing this back to our table. The youth are responsible. The government is responsible. And even the frustrated youth down there, you are responsible to make your life better. Because you'll not be told how to wash your face again when you are 18 years old. Thank you. Let's go for a break, and we'll be moving on in the next session.